I'm a firm believer that money does not equal style, so today I want to share my absolute favorite ways to make your home look expensive on a budget. The first trick is to upgrade your cabinet hardware, whether it is on your kitchen cabinets or on your furniture in your home. You can swap it out for something a little bit more chic, a little bit more modern. I did this recently in our 11-year-old IKEA kitchen. I had some larger style chrome handles and I swapped them out for some antique gold ones. And I had that match the antique gold tipping rail on the DIY range hood we made, and I love the effect. It just looks so much more elevated and warm. I like to find inexpensive hardware at places like Amazon, Home Depot, Wayfair. You can even spray paint old hardware as long as you clean and prime it first. And I will link to the hardware that I used in my kitchen down in that description box below. Hack number 2 is to install architectural details. And this is gonna make a huge difference in how luxurious your home feels. So by details, I mean anything from DIY board and batten trim to picture frame railings to chair railings. All of that trim work is gonna really elevate your home. I have a whole tutorial on how to do DIY board and batten. I will also link to that in the description box below. Definitely a great beginner's project if you're just started with using tools. Number 3 is declutter your space, and this one is absolutely free. So definitely start with this one if you have a zero budget. A more minimal looking space that's free of visual clutter is gonna instantly look more high end. Not only does a lot of white space in your home let the eye rest and feel more elegant, but it's also easier to clean and to maintain. If you're like me and you have a little bit of a hard time finding that motivation to declutter and organize, check out this video right up here where I shared how to tackle that in 14 days. The next tip I have for you is to use luxurious fabrics in your decor accessories to instantly elevate your home. Luxurious fabrics are anything from velvets to cottons to linens, even to furs and faux furs, and those just exude luxury, exude high end. My favorite of those right now is linen. I just love the more organic look and feel of it. You can DIY your own linen pillow covers or throws, or even places like IKEA have a lot of just natural fabrics like cottons that you can incorporate into your home decor. Trick number 5 is to incorporate layers of lighting. And lots of us only think of that overhead lighting, that ambient lighting, so pot lights, chandeliers, and things like that. But think about all the different layers that you can add into your home. We have that ambient lighting that I mentioned, and then there's task lighting, so things like pendant lights you can put over your sink and over your kitchen island. There's accent lighting, so things that give off a warm glow like table lamps and floor lamps, lamps beside the bed. And then there's decorative lighting, so things like twinkle lights and battery operated candles that just give that warm glow to your home and make it feel so much more cozy. I like places like Habitat for Humanity Restore Center to find light fixtures on a budget for my home. The next tip is to add built-in or faux built-in pieces to your home to make it feel more expensive. What you can do is add things like built-in bookcases, you can add built-in benches, but you do not have to hire a contractor to do these and make them from scratch and make them totally custom. You can start with some of IKEA's pieces like their shelves, like their dressers, even their kitchen cabinets, and create things like built-in look dining benches. I did a built-in look shoe cabinet in my entry, something even like a built-in corner bench that I did in my sister's kitchen. Hack number 7 is to use white sheets and white towels in your home. And to me, those just scream luxury. There's a reason why high-end hotels use these. They make you think of cleanliness, they make you think of luxury. So swap out those old dingy towels, get some white ones, get some white sheets. I use these in our vacation rentals and I love them. Our guests love them. How do you keep them white? My favorite product is OxiClean White Revive, and I use this on every single load of white sheets or white towels that I wash, and it keeps them nice and bright and fluffy. Tip number 8 to make your home feel more expensive is to hide all of those little things that make your home look cluttered but that we need out, right? So things like TV remotes, things like light remotes, candle lighters, all that kind of stuff that looks a little bit junky and doesn't really match with the decor. Use simple things like decorative boxes. I love these ones I found on Amazon. You can throw your remotes in there. You can even corral things onto a tray. You can get larger baskets for larger items like kids' toys and put them in places that make sense to how you would use them every day. They're out of sight, but they're still accessible. Hack number 9 is to hang your curtains or your drapes high and wide. This makes your windows look bigger, therefore your space look larger and more elegant. So what I like to do is hang my curtains a few inches from the ceiling and then have them just graze the floor. Where do you buy inexpensive curtains like this? I like to go to IKEA. They have my favorite linen drapes there. They're not very expensive for how elegant they look. And then you want to make sure that you can hang that curtain rod nice and wide on either side of the window, so when you open up the curtains, they completely clear that window. Tip number 10 is to use a variety of textures in your home decor. I find this is the number one thing that people are missing when I go to somebody's house and they're asking me, hey, how can I make this look a little bit more designer? It's usually a lack of textures, especially if you're using a neutral color scheme. So that's any color scheme that, incorporates only whites, beiges, grays, browns, etc. You want to ensure that you're using a variety of textures in your space to truly elevate it. So textures, I'm talking about things like rough and bumpy textures like baskets, sisal, stone, smooth textures like smooth woods and glass and ceramic, fuzzy textures like faux fur and cozy blankets, and make sure to use all of those together in your space to create that room that feels like it's been designed by a professional. Tip number 11 is to add some vintage items into your space that you can find at the thrift store. If you have every single piece in your home from IKEA or a big box store, it's gonna look like an IKEA or a big box store showroom. So I found over the years, it's really important to incorporate those interesting, unique, antique, thrifted, or vintage finds into your space to really add that personality and truly elevate how your space feels. I love hopping over to the thrift store every week or two and just browsing around and seeing if they have anything interesting. If they have some art you love and you don't like the mat, you can paint the mat. I love finding brass or wooden accessories at the thrift store to bring into my home. Tip number 12 is try peel and stick solutions. So we see those beautiful marble backsplashes or those marble countertops, but we often don't have the budget for those. So I find that using peel and stick solutions, especially if you're renting, is sometimes a great way to incorporate the look of those textures and finishes into your home on a budget. I've had some really good success with peel and stick tile and marble look contact paper countertops as long as I'm using the right products and I'm applying them right. So I will leave a link in the description box below to my video all about making sure to apply those correctly and which products I love. Tip number 13 is to make sure you're using the right sized area rug. A lot of us choose a rug that is too small for our space, and that makes our space feel smaller and not as high end. So you want to make sure that all of your legs of your furniture can sit on the rug. If they can't, at least ensure that the front legs of all your furniture sit on the area rug. I know rugs can be expensive, so I only ever buy my area rugs when they're on sale. Places like Ruggable, Rugs USA, Wayfair, they often have sales for Amazon Prime days. You could also even consider layering rugs, so having a less expensive large rug and then a more expensive smaller rug on top of that if you can't afford the rug you adore in the larger size. Tip number 14 is to add some DIY window treatments. Bare windows can definitely look like you just moved into a place, so to make it look a little bit more cozy, homey, make some window treatments. So I love DIY shades, DIY Roman shades, drapes, curtains. I have tons of tutorials for all of those on my blog, thediymummy.com, and on my YouTube channel. So check those out. They're actually really good for beginning sewers because you're just sewing straight seams. The next tip to create an elevated home is to create a distinct entryway in your home. Lots of homes don't have an entryway. You just walk right into the living room perhaps. So if you want to add a distinct looking entryway, that immediately makes it feel a little bit more designer. How do you do this? You can get something like cabinets like I did in our guest house when my parents were living there, and we put them right by the door to create an entry area. And this is a really simple solution, and I think it looks so beautiful. Tip number 16 is to clean those soft furnishings in your home, especially your sofa. This is kind of a funny tip, I know, but if you can take a little green machine, my favorite, and clean your sofas, it's instantly gonna make them look so much better and your room so much more elevated. Do this as often as you think is necessary. I usually do mine every season or so. It kind of gets grungy, especially in the spring, and it's gonna make a huge difference in your space. Hack number 17 is to use bigger light fixtures than you think you need in your space. Small light fixtures can make a space feel small and unfinished. Bigger ones, more substantial ones can look high-end and amazing. A rule of thumb to figure out the size of fixture for your space is to add the width and the length of your room in feet and use that measurement as inches to figure out the diameter of your light fixture for that space. You'll also want to think about the ceiling height in your space. You want at least a 7-foot clearance under your fixture. Tip number 18 is paint your front door. It makes a huge difference when you paint your door more brilliant colors. So maybe instead of white, you want to paint it a nice deep green, or maybe even a deep red or a sunny yellow. And that makes a huge difference in the first impression and the curb appeal of your home. The next hack to make your home feel more expensive is to make it smell more expensive. And this one is probably kind of funny too, but we do use all of our senses to enjoy our homes. And making it smell elegant is gonna make you feel like the whole space is elegant. So you can do something as simple as a simmer pot with food scraps and citrus peels on your stove, or use things like essential oils and linen sprays around your home to really give it that elegant vibe. Tip number 20 is to use oversized artwork and mirrors on your wall. A lot of us are prone to using really small pieces. If you do have small pieces of art and mirrors, maybe turn them into a gallery wall. But usually it's best to just have that one big piece or that one big mirror to truly elevate your space. Don't have to spend a fortune on these oversized pieces. Go to your thrift store, see if they have anything there, do some DIY art. There are so many options. I especially love using big mirrors in small spaces. It bounces that natural light around and makes the space feel so much bigger. Tip number 21 is to use down and or feather inserts for your decorative cushions in your home. And I feel like this makes a huge difference. When you use those polyester filled cushions, they kind of lay all flat. But if you use a down or feather filled cushion, you can do that pretty little chop. They look so plump and full, and it makes a huge difference. I like IKEA's pillow inserts for their affordability. However, I feel like they have decreased in volume over the past few years. So that brings me to my next tip, which is to overstuff your pillows and your duvets in your home for that expensive look. So in the case of IKEA feather inserts, use 2 of them in one pillow cover to make it look a lot more plush and full. You can do a similar thing with duvets. Use 2 duvet inserts in one duvet, or just use a larger size duvet. So for example, a California King in a king-sized duvet cover. The next hack is to make sure that you use greenery and flowers throughout your space. This really adds that natural, uplifted vibe to your home, and it's so easy. You don't have to spend money on real flowers if you don't want to. There's lots of beautiful high-end looking faux flowers and greenery available right now, and I will link to some of my favorites down in that description box below. My next tip is to use a touch of brass in every room in your home. Brass is timeless, brass feels luxurious. You can do a little bit more of a muted and toned down antique brass or a shinier brass, completely up to you and how that works with your home decor style. I recently added that brass tipping rail to the DIY range hood in our kitchen, matched it up with brass handles, and I love how warm and elevated it looks. You don't have to add a ton of brass to your space, just 3 small items is enough to really make a difference, and you can find lots of these items at the thrift store. Tip number 25 is to use oversized accessories in your space. So just like oversized artwork, oversized light fixtures, oversized accessories like vases, etc., are going to make your home look a little bit richer and more high-end than a whole bunch of small accessories. And I've learned this over the years. I love collecting little tchotchkes and things and displaying them, but just to have one that is more substantial just looks a lot more elegant than having a whole bunch of smaller items. Again, you can thrift things, you can paint them. I upcycled this vase and I used some plaster of Paris and paint to give it this beautiful textured look. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found these tips helpful as you decorate your space. I do have a free email guide with 5 secrets on how to create a beautiful home on a budget. Check that out in the description box below, and hopefully it helps guide you on your journey of making your home beautiful. Don't forget, you are decorating for you and no one else, and that's the most important thing. Wishing you joy in your home today and always, and I'll see you in the next video.